I feel bad. I feel bad. I just censored Juan, so we can add our favorite food on top of the celebration for the Hajj.
So favorite meal and how do we celebrate? Favorite meal of the holidays and how do we celebrate?
Well, I guess I can start. My favorite meal is still lentils. Like we did that question sometime before and didn't change. And wow, how should we celebrate? I said that question too fast. I don't actually. I think we should do a party. Like I actually think we should do a party like we did on the, like with this guy with this music. We were all dancing. That was so fun. I think that's that's a great thing. I'll pass it to Juan.
Okay. My favorite meal of the holidays is something that we call pastel de arroz. That is like a cake of rice. That is, it has like meat, but it's like chicken and like a lot of vegetables, and it is cooked with a palm tree. It is like wrapped in a palm tree leaf, and then like you put it in hot water to like cook the rice. It is very good, and like yeah, it is something very traditional here in Colombia. And yeah, I also think we need to have a dance party and to celebrate, because I think we have put a lot of effort into this, and we are rushing to make everything go the best way possible. And I will pass to Nate.
I can't hear you, Nate.
My apologies. I guess it was the favorite holiday food. Was that correct? I think my favorite holiday food has got to be green bean casserole and or potatoes. So keep it simple. But yeah, it's good holidays. Was there any other part of that question I needed to answer? Right.
How do we celebrate when we hit the hatch?
Oh, when you hit the hatch, drink a lot of alcohol and party it up. Enjoy yourselves. I guess I'll pass it to Tonga.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I won't be drinking alcohol. I don't like alcohol, but I will be, I don't know. My favorite food is, in these holidays, I've been drinking smoothies, and I feel very good. And yeah, I usually don't like to celebrate much, but we can do whatever. I'll pass it to Mateo.
Hey guys, so for my holidays, I'm also following Juan in the Colombian culture, but this one is not that salty. This one is sweet. It's hot chocolate, but with real cocoa from Colombia that is really really thick, and so I love it. Weird people over the south of the country put cheese on it, but I don't do it. I like it only the liquid, the chocolate, the hot chocolate, and maybe with a great arepa with a lot of cheese, but separate. So that's not really holiday food, but in my family we do it regularly over the holidays. So that's it. And we should party together like we do it in the Christmas and the end of the year, because yeah, I know that physical party won't happen quite near. So yeah, with a lot of alcohol and music and everything that is possible from the virtual space. So yeah, I'll pass it to Tam.
Thanks. So favorite meal over the holiday. I'm going to preface this by saying I can count on one hand how many times I eat meat over the course of 12 months. It's super rare. However, over the holiday, I made a recipe on a website called The Pioneer Woman, and she has the best beef stew recipe I have ever tasted. And it takes a good 5-6 hours, but when it's done, the meat is just as soft as tender, and it just sort of melts in your mouth as you eat it. And there's carrots and potatoes and gravy and tomato paste, and it's fantastic. So that was my favorite meal over this holiday. And we also eat a lot of lentils. And now every time I think you eat lentils, I think is Xmas. So you're forever associated with lentils in my mind. And celebration, I'm up for whatever, actually. I think we should celebrate because it'll be a lot of effort of a lot of people and really cool. But I'll leave it up to those with more creative ideas for celebrations. Livia, can I pass back to you?
Yeah, thank you. I think my favorite food of the holiday. No, I didn't have. There's more people to go, right? Yeah. My favorite food of the holiday was my friend made this southern fried chicken, but he's from the south and he has the recipe that is like forever there. And it was I never ate. I don't even like chicken, but that chicken was like, oh my god, I'm so lucky I ate this. And how I think we should celebrate. Yeah, I think we should definitely have a grateful celebration. We've been like raising so much the gratitude in the group. So I think all of the ideas are super welcome, and hopefully later this year we'll be able to celebrate in person somewhere in the world with so many crypto conferences and stuff happening. And I pass to you, Santi.
Well, we have a bunch of meals here in Christmas, and if I have to choose something, I would choose the sweets that we have, the turrón that we eat at the end of the meal every day. All the varieties that are here, they are just fantastic. You just have to do some exercise after after the period of Christmas, but that's another story. And for celebration, definitely a party. I'm gonna have a big bottle of rum, Cuban rum, next to my my computer, and whatever you decide. I think that the party that we had with that guy, I forgot his name, the guy with the speakers, that was awesome. I think that could be a nice way to celebrate. I'll pass it to, I think, Griff is the only one missing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Gary LaChance. He's a good friend of mine. He helped me start my Burning Man camp 3 years ago, so we will definitely get him to throw a party, or at least that's what I'd hope. At least that'd be a dimension to it. Nobody throws better parties than that guy. So, and then as far as favorite meal, I'm in Ecuador, and there's this thing called a humita or a uma. I don't know if you guys know about it, but it's like basically corn, and it's kind of like a tamale, but instead the corn's a little bit prepared differently, and inside is cheese instead of meat. And I like the salty ones instead of the sweet ones. And I'll put that with some avocado and some green salt. There's this lady who makes like green salt here. It's really delicious, and that's been my favorite meal that I ate during the holidays. There were other holiday meals, but I love humitas. I'll pass it to Livia.
Cool. Thanks, guys. That was fun. Thanks, Zep and Juan, for bringing up the question. I hope you guys enjoyed this part of the call, because the next one is not going to be so fun. It's a disclaimer, and if anyone wants to leave, it's fine. But you can jump in the document. It's in the Softgov channel, the agenda. So we talked already about the proposals and comps, so we don't have to go through that. I took a note of some action items, and then along the week we can work on them. And I just wanted to ask if anyone has an agenda point before we go into a hack session. Something you would want to talk about raise to the awareness of Softgov, something we should discuss? I'll take this as a no. And then we can open this Code of Conduct document. So this has been like the most headache, I think, for me and maybe for everyone involved. And I was really not knowing how to move forward in a way that it really like brings up these rules alive and rules that make sense for us. So thankfully, this chapter that we'll read after here in the book club was really great in this sense, talking a lot about how to make rules, and a very good and simple insight she offered was this 3 words, that is forbid, require, permit. So what is forbidden, what is required, and basically we just need to figure it out, both of this, because anything else that it's not forbid or required is permitted. So I just put in each one of these steps. So for who wasn't present, we had a hack session to decide what were the points that we needed a code of conduct for. So we have the parameters, we have conflict management, we have decision making, we have comms channels, and that's it. Let me share my screen quickly so we all. Okay, so here we are. And then it looks a bit confusing, but I just added under each one of these pieces, these questions that I would love if we could answer them in this call, and that are what actions can be taken in this medium. So what actions can be taken by conflict managers, by the Gravity team? Is this action or outcome required? Is this action or outcome forbidden? So I would like us to have a list for each one of those, of the actions, and then to later see if this action is required or forbidden. And it would be great if we could do that for each one of this, that we selected the people that were interested in working on them. But I just want to pass around for everyone in this call that doesn't have a topic to pick one if you would like, and don't feel pressured to jump on it. But I would love if we can do that over this call. So Griff, Santi, Zaptimus, Juan, and Jake already have topics that are that they said they're interested in working on. I think Mateo. No, yeah. So Mateo and Nate and Tim, if you, I don't want to put you in the spot, but if you want to pick one, you can pick one. If not, you can just say pass. So I'll pass to Mateo.
Give me a second. I'm reading. Yes.
Sorry?
I'm reading the topic, so give me a second, or I'll pass it to Tam meanwhile I choose one. Sorry.
I'm also reading them. I have some commitments that are really tightly time bound. So my instinct is to pass on this. And yeah, I'm going to pass. But if there is something that you think really needs input from me, then signal, and I'll participate.
So I'm trying to, where exactly are the topics located within the document?
Are you in the Code of Conduct document?
Yep.
I will highlight them.
Okay.
As I am already in the gravity group with Juan, I want to help him in that one. That's possible, right?
Yeah,
So
awesome.
I'll type myself in there. Then.
So could you restate what it is exactly that you're looking for in regards to these topics? Apologies.
Yeah, so I was thinking it might be a little bit harder for you since you're joining now, but it would lovely to have your fresh approach as well. So you can still see my screen, right? So for each one of this, for example, what actions can be taken regarding conviction voting proposals? So people can submit proposal, people can vote, people can comment.
So this is just giving a guideline to decision-making procedures in terms of different approaches to voting, correct?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
For each one of this, to understand what are all of the actions we can take in regards to that topic.
I'd be interested in taking the forum one.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Does anyone else have a question? Cool. So we can work on it silently. If anyone wants to put a song, that's cool also. And I'll check back on you guys in the end of this call. And if you have any question, please pop up.
Can you explain a little bit what should we think about in the outcome required and outcome forbidden? Like a little example, because I don't know what we want to add in here.
So for example, submitting a proposal. Is this action of submitting a proposal required for the proposal terms? So I think yes, it is required to participate in the conviction voting that you submit a proposal. Is there any of these actions that are forbidden? So maybe something that would be forbidden would be to submit a proposal that will harm someone in the team. So the list of actions, they don't only account the actions that we want to see, but also the actions that we don't want to see. And these actions will go to the forbidden part. And that's how we start to understand our rules. That's where we're going to communicate to people when they're joining, that we understand that you can take all of these actions if you want, but they are forbidden according to our code of conduct. And then from having what actions are forbidden, we can understand what are the sanctions for each one of them.
Okay, thank you, Libby.
Sorry, and so are we designing this to kind of evolve over time in terms of just, based on, circumstances or events that occur that we say, okay, we need to reevaluate this. Is that possible, or is this kind of like this is set in stone? We're not doing anything else after it.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. That's the idea that we would also have a process for changing this. And I think this process already exists somehow inside of our decision-making process. For changing the code of conduct, for example, maybe a conviction voting proposal would be nice because it's something a little more serious. But we could also decide that in the forum through voting on polls, and these are like discussions that we'll continuously have until everyone feels good about them.
And just to clarify, did this code of conduct strictly apply to trusted seed members, or everyone participating within the context of the TEC and Common Stack and so on?
I would say everyone participating in the context of the TEC. I don't know if anyone disagrees, but hopefully we would have some type of, and we were talking about that with Santi, with Sam, like with legal and tech. What can we have some type of checkbox when people enter, some type of signature that they are aware of the code of conduct or that they agree or something like that?
And what's everybody's philosophy here on identifying the proposer, making sure that everybody's identifiable when make a proposal, as in like no anonymity?
So there's limited anonymity. So, I mean, someone's got to post it on the forum. So they got to have a handle on the forum. Someone's got to propose it to the DAO. So they got to have an address. During the hatch, everyone has to have been verified as a human as a trustable human, as a someone who might care about token engineering and not just be trying to make money human by the Common Stack Association. So there's those limits, but once the DAO is up and anyone can buy into the bonding curve post-hatch, so it's one of these things where there's limits on the anonymity. For instance, if you propose to the DAO, you propose from an address, you can see if it has TEC tokens or not. You can see the history. You know, it's like how much you dig, and then how much information you put on the forum. But it's not like someone has to submit their ID.
I'm having a bit of trouble deciding what to write on the what actions can be taken, because I think you said in the beginning that whatever is not required or forbidden is allowed. So what should be in the first section? Because that could go really general, if I understand.
Yeah, I think the first section, it's more to organize, like almost like a brainstorming for each one of these mediums, to see like what are all the actions that exist there, and then once you place them into required or forbidden, the ones that are neither required or forbidden are allowed. It's just easier to do that way than to place each one into allowed. And it's kind of implicit that even if they're not listed there, but they are not listed in forbidden and in required, they are allowed.
Thank you.
Is everyone doing good? Okay, nodding head.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask a question real quick about dandelion voting. Is that going to be maintained after the hatch as well, correct?
Yeah.
The method of
I
voting.
mean,
Okay.
It's really hard to say because it's like, yes, absolutely, most likely, probably,
Yeah.
because once the DAO exists, like we set up the hatch, and then the plan is that we upgrade to a commons with the augmented bonding curve and conviction voting, which will still, those parameters will be controlled by dandelion voting. But once there's a DAO, it's like, dude, the people with tokens get to vote. And if they decide that they want only dot voting and no more dandelion voting, it's not like we can stop them,
Yeah, and so a lot of this is kind of a model for future hatches to say this is the process in which we go about it, and this is the code of conduct we have until that hatch happens, and then once you have that DAO, it's your rules from there on out. You're managing it, and then that community has complete control over it.
Yeah, and I'm more specifically talking about the launching in two parts piece, where even in the TEC, we start with dandelion voting and the hatch,
Yep.
which is like the fundraising part. And then after that, the dandelion voting should upgrade to have a dandelion voting, ABC, and conviction voting. But
At that point, it's just the token holders who are going to make those decisions at the end of the day. Okay.
yeah, and they could be like, dandelion voting sucks. Dandelion voting does have some challenges. They could realistically say, let's just do regular voting.
Okay. And is there a process where we take decisions from, kind of this like a ideation phase to let's get some signaling to let's actually, okay, we got signaling to let's move it to dandelion voting. Okay, we have that. Let's move it to conviction voting and so on and so forth, depending on the type of decision being made.
Someone else was going to say something? I want to let them talk.
I was going to say that the signaling part is we want to bring the advice process. So all proposals would have a sharing phase to start. And then they tag the people that are most affected by that proposal and receive the feedback, integrate the feedback in their own manner, and then submit the proposal after feedback is given. And you ask if dandelion would go to conviction voting. They are two separate things. So if a voting is going to dandelion, it would be solved in dandelion. And if it goes to conviction voting, this is my... Sorry, I'm in my mom's house. There's still like a phone that is not a cell phone around. I got so like, where is this coming from?
I actually think that was really, really cool.
It's art.
It's art, yeah. But just to finish it, dandelion voting decides the contract layer of things. And conviction voting is mostly for funding proposals, and it can also be used for signaling.
And so just to clarify one last thing, with dandelion voting on the contract layer, you can't just propose something on dandelion without going through the exploratory process and maybe a signaling or forum, or can you just pop it up there and see what happens?
I think we could. The thing is, there's the smart contract layer, and then there's like the cultural layer, right? So we can put in the terms, hey, like you have to put before it goes up on before you vote for something in dandelion voting, you have to do this. Smart contracts will allow them to not, but if we say you have to go post in the forum and wait 3 days, and they only wait 1 day, anyone can be like, listen, the terms say this, man, you got to follow the rules, and then everyone would be like, yeah, we should probably vote against that. We should make the guy follow the rules. Or they'll be like, you know what? It's Sam. Come on, don't worry about the rules for him. It's the DAO, But it's good to set cultural permissions.
And so that would be something to include in the code of conduct if we wanted. Okay.
Absolutely. In fact, this is basically the purpose. Like we want to recognize that there's Softgov, right? So there's like the smart contracts and blah, blah, blah. But then hey, they're humans too. We can have like the soft gov of like, yeah, you got to post on the forum first. Let it sit for a few days, get some feedback, then apply, then make a proposal.
Is it right to say there are two different commons, Griff? Dandelion and conviction voting?
Commons or governance applications within the commons. It's really the commons is the token holders is what I would say, right? And the token holders can vote in either.
Okay, so governance modules. So we have 5 minutes, and I could really use like a water break before the book club. Thank you so much. This was amazing that you all jumped into the doc, and hopefully we can continue working on this at everyone's own pace. And I'll also have another hack session for this week if we want to continue working together. Some people work better with a group, some people better together, so we can be flexible there. And yeah, please write if you have any questions. I think it was great, the ones that came up, and to like continue the dialogue on this. Does anyone want to say something before we close?
Great work session. Thank you, Olivia.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I
Thank you,
see
Livia.
you in a minute in the book club.